Recently, it seems like every time you turn on the TV, you hear bad news. Whether it's extreme climate change, violence in the streets, or threat of a nuclear war, we're all constantly being warned that something dangerous is coming. And even though some people may say the media is taking things a bit too far, you would have to be nuts to not think of a safety plan in case things really do go wrong. So let's huddle together for warmth and prepare for the worst while we check out homes that will protect you during an apocalypse. Before the bombs start falling, make sure you click to subscribe to our channel. If you watch enough of our videos, you may just survive the apocalypse after all. But no guarantees. The Greenbriar Bunker. Some people might be surprised to learn that the fear of nuclear war is nothing new. In fact, there were entire industries that existed solely to ease our minds in case warheads started to rain down. One such industry was the production of bunkers. These started popping up all over the United States during the Cold War for fear of a Russian attack. And if everyday Americans were able to get access to bunkers, then you know that the rich and powerful were too. That brings us to our first entry, the bunker at Greenbriar. Built in 1958 in West Virginia, this massive facility was created in secrecy right underneath a luxury hotel. Measuring at over 120,000 square feet, this bunker was expertly maintained for years without anyone in the area knowing why. But after some investigating, the truth came out in the 1990s. The bunker was made to protect the members of the United States government. Some things really should have tipped the townspeople off, however. For example, there was a huge 7,000-foot plane landing strip in a city of 3,000 people. A bit of an overkill, right? Anyways, today the bunker is no more than a tourist attraction. If it wasn't found out in 1992, there's a pretty good chance that it would still be where Congress headed in the event of an apocalypse. So if you live in the Virginia area, now you know where to go. Kansas condos. Now we go from the homes for the rich and powerful government officials to the homes for rich and powerful civilians. Notice a pattern here? Apocalypse survival homes are expensive. And to even get permission to buy one, you have to know the right people. Take these Kansas condos, for example. Not only are they a good way to avoid solar flares, terrorist attacks, and nuke blasts, but they also allow you to live in the lap of luxury. The condos have a pool, a library, and movie theaters. All it will cost you is the low price of $2 million. Yep, you heard that right. These tiny round condos will cost you what some people don't make in a lifetime. That's just the price of security. But if you don't see that as a viable option, no worries. There will be a lot more practical options later on in this list. These expensive Kansas living quarters were actually built inside of an old abandoned missile silo. Pretty ironic when you think about it, since missiles are some of the very things people living here will be hiding from. If you needed further proof of their legitimacy, the creator of these condos actually bought one for his family as well. Now that's peace of mind. State Park Silo Home. In upstate New York, in the Forest Preserve, lies a park known as Adirondack. Given the name due to its proximity to the Adirondack Mountains, the area is home to over 100 towns and villages, but hidden among these quaint areas lies a house that's unlike any other. At first glance, this home may look like a one-story hunting lodge like any other, but if you dig a little deeper, you'll find that there's a secret underground wing built to withstand the apocalypse. Like many of the houses on this list, it's made from the remains of an old missile silo. The difference between the others and this location is that this New York home is located in the beautiful and serene forest. Not that it would matter too much after the apocalypse, it would likely all be gone. But that doesn't mean you can't enjoy it until the sirens go off. This home took over 20 years to renovate, so you know they've been anticipating the worst. The only problem? It was recently sold for $750,000. But who knows, maybe after things start going bad, you can negotiate to stay with the new owners. Las Vegas Luxury. Viva Las Vegas! For any of you that live close to Sin City, this is the safest place for you. Most people would drive by this home without giving it a second glance. Palm trees in the yard, 2 stories, fenced in, it looks like any other house on the street. But once you get inside, you'll notice quite the difference. This spot is equipped with a basement that's over 15,000 square feet. And that's not even the cool part. This Las Vegas protection is fitted with another house and yard underneath the original. That means that when you go downstairs, it appears as if you're still outside. There's no being cooped up in a silo at this place. And another truly amazing addition is that the outdoor area has a simulated daytime and nighttime. The view is actually able to change. A huge quirk to this home within a home is that its current design is stuck in the 1970s. But hey, that's a small price to pay for surviving the end of the world. And if you're worried about getting bored, you're in luck. The garden area includes a swimming pool, 2 jacuzzis, a sauna, a dance floor, a bar, a barbecue, and a 4-hole putting green. Whoever made this certainly planned ahead. Denver International Airport. The next selection on our list is definitely the largest. That is, if it exists at all. Let us explain. The Denver International Airport is the second largest in the world. It's actually double the size of the next largest airport in the United States. Built in 1995, there have been conspiracy theories about its true purpose almost from the beginning. A lot of that stemming from the fact that the previous Denver airport had no major issues, and because this airport ended up being $2 billion over budget. We could go on for days about the reasons why people are skeptical about the true intentions, but this odd fact sums things up nicely. Where most airports in the country have murals depicting the local culture, Denver's decided to go a different route. Yes, that picture seems to feature sick children and a soldier of the apocalypse. Not only is he holding two weapons, but he's also killing the white dove of peace. Even if you don't think there's a secret bunker here, it is definitely a disturbing choice. And don't forget the fact that this new airport was built right after the previous government bunker closed down in the 90s. Maybe the government officials decided they needed a new high-tech space when things all went wrong. It's starting to not sound like a conspiracy after all. Svalbard Global Seed Vault. Where the last spot exists to save the elite, this next place exists to save the world. The Svalbard Global Seed Vault is a seed bank on the island of Spitsbergen, which is about 800 miles from the North Pole. This location was picked because it had no tectonic activity, and it has permafrost, which helps preserve the contents. This Norwegian island's main purpose is to house a variety of plant seeds from all over the globe in the event of a worldwide disaster. If you're thinking about breaking in and pigging out, you should think again. This seed bank was built into the side of a sandstone mountain and has state-of-the-art security systems. This is the survival of the human race we're talking about. Although most people in the media discuss the vault as a last resort, its current use is to replenish seed gene banks due to mismanagement or accidents. For example, the National Seed Bank of the Philippines was damaged by flooding and fires, and the Afghanistan and Iraq seed banks were completely lost. It's good to know that plant life on the planet will be protected during an apocalypse too. Otherwise, it would be a pretty bland world after the disaster. Atlas Pipe. After all the pricey selections, we finally have a survival option for the little guy. Mass-produced by a Florida man, the Atlas Survival Shelter is for the person who can't afford to survive in luxury. The homes are sold by Al's Army-Navy store and are 32 by 10 feet. They're also meant to be buried 20 feet underground, but they unfortunately don't help you with that part. Get out your shovels! These shelters are made from corrugated pipe, so they aren't designed to hold up as well as some of the other options on the list. But at least the price is right. These sell for just $60,000. They may not have a swimming pool or a golf course, but they are fitted with sinks, bunk beds, lights, a toilet, and a TV. We're not sure what kind of signal you'd pick up, but that's beside the point. If you're fine with making your own fun, then this might be the right survival method for you. A lot of TV channels have also agreed with this. The Atlas Survival Shelter has been featured everywhere from Storage Wars to Doomsday Preppers, and it sure beats the other option, which is staying above ground and hoping for the best, right? Mount Weather. Let's get back to the homes that were designed for the most important people in the world. The next facility is called Mount Weather and is located in the Blue Ridge Mountains. If you're a geography whiz, you know that this is about 48 miles from Washington, D.C. A lot of the people who come here are from the government, so that's no surprise at all. This facility has two parts that will make your jaw drop. The first is a FEMA complex designed to help during disasters, and the second part is an underground facility that's said to be over 600,000 square feet. This location is trusted so much that former Vice President Dick Cheney was taken here after the events of 9/11 took place. To add more mystique to Mount Weather, it actually has a lot of unique traits. For example, it has its own leaders, its own police, fire department, and even its own laws. There's also a TV studio to create the dreaded announcement of the apocalypse if it ever gets that far. Plus, no civilian has ever been able to tour the complex. All we know is that the most important people in the world go there when things go wrong. So unless you plan on getting elected to Congress soon, you might be out of luck with this super secure home. Burlington Bunker. Now let's jump from America overseas to the UK and find another Cold War relic. As we all know, the threat of nuclear annihilation wasn't only between Russia and the United States. Many other countries feared they could be targeted or accidentally fall into the crosshairs in the event of a nuclear bomb attack. So, in 2004, when the British Ministry of Defense finally acknowledged the Burlington Bunker on its website, it was no surprise at all. It was a closely kept secret for over 40 years and was well prepared for an all-out war. This gigantic bunker exists under the English town of Corsham and is set inside of a 240-acre abandoned quarry. Surprisingly enough, the underground fortress was built big enough to hold 4,000 members of government and staff, but sadly not big enough for their families to come along. If that isn't a deterrent, the facility has 100-foot deep reinforced concrete walls, so you are covered when it comes to outside threats. And much like the Mount Weather facility in the States, it also has a broadcasting studio to communicate with people unlucky enough to join them below. Does this sound like a place you'd want to stay even if your family couldn't join you? Let us know in the comments. The Ark2 Facility. The final facility on our list was created by a man who took things into his own hands. Just like you, he was fed up with disaster survival being just for the rich and powerful, and decided to do something about it. Bruce Beach built a makeshift bunker called the Ark2 in Canada in 1980. How? By burying 42 school buses underground. That had to have taken a lot of work. And that's not all. They're reinforced with 14 feet of dirt and 2 feet of concrete. Most people believe Ark2 is the biggest private fallout shelter in the world, measuring over 10,000 square feet. Bruce says that his main goal was to help save humanity in case of a nuclear war. We can't think of a more honorable pursuit, but unfortunately, in 2015, the government had to get involved. After decades of living in peace, apparently the Ark2 facility was raided several times by government officials. Their attempts to shut it down were due to apparent public safety concerns. Although Mr. Beach said he made all the required changes to his bunker and claims the structure is sound and ready to survive a nuclear blast, no matter what the case may be, it's nice to know that there's somebody out there looking out for the little guy. Well, that wraps it up for our look into the apocalypse. Be sure to check out our other videos on the hub to find ways to entertain yourself before anything bad goes down. And remember, if you hear the sirens, be sure to call your rich and powerful friends. See you next time!